All right, right now we've got Troy Renck on the line, Denver Post beat writer, which means he is out there at Dove Valley every single day, keeping track of what's going on. And no surprise this morning, Troy, at the Gary Kubiak's presser, there is absolutely no reason for him to play his card in talking about the quarterback situation right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just from a strategic standpoint, it makes no sense. From the fact that the players aren't here until Thursday, it makes no sense to publicly discuss it. It would not surprise me, though, when the players reconvene on Thursday that a decision is made.
Right.
Now, he could wait till Monday. I wouldn't think it would go much further than Monday, just knowing how Kubiak does things. He isn't, the Patriots and keep everything a secret. That's just not his personality. He is as transparent an NFL coach as I've ever been around in 20 years covering sports. So I would think the first possible day we'd hear a decision would be Thursday, and if not, it would surprise me if it goes longer than the following Monday. And right now, I mean, the speculation is that Manning has got the slight edge, but you can make an argument for both. It's just if they were robots, it would be easy to say, stay with Osweiler, use Manning as the great closer coming in relief. It's just, you start playing with a weird dynamic here with these players, and would Brock be looking over his shoulder every pass? And, is Manning going to even private feel like, geez, what do I have to do to get the job back? I mean, there's some emotional stuff you have to deal with that you don't want to become a distraction. But I would say as we sit here today, Manning would have the slight lead in terms of regaining the job.
Troy, have we seen anything? Was there any, and we were both at the press conferences yesterday between Brock and Peyton. We've all heard what Gary Kubiak said last night and certainly this morning. Is there any hint as to which way they're going to go? Are we missing anything? Is it one of those deals where you think this is a coin flip? Or in Gary Kubiak's mind, do you think right now he knows which guy he's going to go with?
I can only base it on how I've read Kubiak throughout this process. I do think he's handled this situation skillfully, that throughout this he's shown respect, if not reverence, for Manning while propping up Osweiler's confidence over these last 6 weeks. And he's made a skill of not making a decision until he had to. The first time he made a decision between the two was last week, because that was the first time that Peyton Manning had been healthy enough to generate a quarterback controversy or force a decision. Now, if you look back through all of it, he's pretty much said if Manning is healthy, it's his job. And it's been a while since he's kind of said that, but he's really hinted at that for the better part of 7 weeks. And I don't think the reason he wasn't going to go right back to Manning against the Chargers is because Brock, earned the spot, right, to keep the spot after how he played against the Bengals. And I do think there was some uncertainty as to how healthy Manning really was. It's one thing to suit up and be available and kind of as a backup. It's another thing to play a full game. And I sense, again, that Manning has the slight edge here, but the question would be that I think he has to answer, and you need to, have a really honest conversation with Manning, is can he play a full game and get through a full game? He looked every bit of 39 after a couple of those hits. He won't make it through a full game if he's taking multiple hits. This is my opinion. So that's where the question becomes. If you start Manning, then you lose. Going to Brock is a different scenario than bringing Manning out of the bullpen. I mean, that's not the same emotional spark, with all due respect to Osweiler. So there's a balance there, but I just sense going into the playoffs that the preference would be for Kubiak. Again, this is my gut feeling, not what I've been told, that Manning would have the slight edge if, again, he continues to show that he's healthy.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a gut decision on all levels here because, I mean, look, Peyton left after 9 games as the worst quarterback in the NFL in terms of interceptions and passer rating. Right now, as of today, he's the 34th ranked quarterback in a 32-person league.
Moving on
32 quarterback league in terms of passer rating. Hey, Brock's 25th, so it's not that great a deal. But, if it's not Brock's fault yesterday, if he didn't fumble the ball 3 times, there were 2 tip passes. Remember the Bengals game. Remember the Patriots game. Peyton was 5 of 9 yesterday. He didn't come in and win the game throwing 3 touchdown passes. It's going to be a gut decision because, Troy, to me, Brock didn't do anything really to lose the job other than that the team needed a spark, and that spark was Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I've said this before, and I wrote this in my game story today, that Brock was like a pitcher whose infielders were committing errors behind him. I mean, you make good pitches, guys make errors, and all of a sudden you give up a bloop shot, and it's 2-0, 3-0, and you feel like you've made one bad pitch. I mean, the 2 interceptions I don't think were at all his fault. The sack, the blindside hit and fumble, you could argue he probably should have changed protection, and maybe that's on him in terms of the way they run their scheme, but it was still a free shot at him. Again, if Emmanuel Sanders doesn't fumble and they go up 14-0,
right?
And Brock doesn't come out of that game yesterday. So I do think that, I'm not saying he's entirely blameless, but, man, he got some bad luck, some really bad luck. Even Manning joked afterwards, sort of saying, hey, I did a really good job handing off. And it wasn't like Manning tore it up. He went 5 for 9 against a bad Chargers defense. But he put him in good plays. He put him in good running plays. And that's one thing you get with Manning. He is the maestro at the line of scrimmage. And his experiences allow him to see stuff and make quick decisions that Brock just doesn't have the inventory to make those kind of decisions consistently yet. And the other thing is they've both been through this now. They've both been benched, even if Manning technically was for injury. So that helps too. You've seen them both go through this. How they both reacted. The fascinating thing to me, guys, is if Kubiak would delay it till Monday and play it as a matchup, because the Steelers and Manning, I think, is a great matchup. Their secondary's weak. They make mistakes. Chiefs and/or Texans, their pass rush is vicious.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's a great matchup for Manning. Can he survive that? And I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I know. Troy, we got the #1 seed in the AFC, and we have a quarterback controversy going to the playoffs. It's wild and crazy here at Broncos country. All right, Troy, thanks so much, man. We'll talk to you not next week, but the week after the Broncos playoff game. So thanks, man. We'll see you at Dove Valley.